is tasked with overseeing this main event, scheduled for 5 5-minute rounds in the middleweight division. As if you need reminding, Anderson Silva in the black, Michael Bisping in the white. Nights don't get bigger than this in London.
I don't even want to say anything, John. I'm right on the end of my seat right now. Anderson circling Michael Bisping. Bisping leaded with a head kick to start with, but Anderson slipped out the way of it. Michael controlling the centre so far.
Silva has good memories of competing in London. He predicted that he would be the villain this evening, and that didn't bother him. He's speaking about bringing back the belt to Brazil, and he wasn't really talking about that so much when he was fighting Diaz. That obviously gave him some confidence. That 13-month layoff has really increased his hunger, and he sees Michael Bisping right in his way to getting that title shot.
He certainly looks far more relaxed. Michael Bisping just caught him with a glancing left hook that caused him to smile, and immediately he comes straight into the centre to meet Michael Bisping.
Bisping's camp have been very, very happy with the progress that he has made in this training camp. His head is in a very good space. Physically, things have gone very, very well.
Michael's constant movement makes it very difficult for Anderson Silva to settle into anything. You can see Michael's always adjusting. There's always slight movements in his head and shoulders, feints and fakes. It's very nice to watch, and it's difficult to set somebody up for something when you just don't know what they're doing. Michael Bisping pushes forward, lands a right hand, and Anderson Silva stands still.
Bisping works very well behind that jab, but he can't go chasing the spider. It's got to be a really decent mix of pushing the pace but not being exposed at any time.
Which is so difficult against a fighter like Anderson Silva. You don't even always know you're exposed until you're unconscious. Michael Bisping swings another head kick, just misses.
March 5th from Las Vegas, Nevada, UFCFightPass.com gets your evening started from Sin City. The featured bout of the Fight Pass prelims will be a lightweight showdown between Diego Sanchez and another UFC veteran in Jim Miller. The prelims are streaming live and exclusively on UFC Fight Pass beginning at 6:30 p.m. Eastern. Tickets are still available.
Fascinating battle for range right now. Both fighters just feeling out their range and their distance and seeing what they can touch their opponent with, seeing how they respond, what openings they give them, what tells they have.
Michael Bisping with the greatest number of significant strikes in UFC history.
Good work from Michael Bisping, stepping in there, landing 2 shots. Anderson's backed him up against the fence, looks a little more aggressive than normal. This potentially is the Anderson Silva we saw at the weigh-ins yesterday. Really fired up to show Michael Bisping what he's capable of.
Silva looking to set himself in position. He has the precision of a watchmaker. Bisping managed to fight himself back into the centre of the octagon. And really, Dan, as the fight goes on, Bisping only gets stronger.
He does, you know, as we close into the later rounds, that's when Bisping starts to pick up his work rate. It's these early rounds that Anderson Silva is the most dangerous. When he's as unpredictable, he's not showed his card, he's not showed his game.
Discovered that it's Michael Bisping's birthday this week as well. What a present it would be to himself if he pulls out a victory here in London.
Good work from Bisping, covering distance here. He's taking his feet with him as he's stepping in, which is very important. Anderson Silva with a snap down for a second, disorientated Bisping.
Don't forget, we have extended coverage right here on UFCFightPass.com following the main event. John Anik, Dan Hardy and Caroline Pierce.
Bisping backing Anderson up to the fence. Good head movement again from Anderson Silva. Looking very confident. Again pushes Bisping back to the fence. Oh! A good shot from Bisping! Anderson looked wrong for a second, but he's fired.
Bisping found the target very nicely indeed.
Both fighters got a little more aggressive. Both stood their ground to a certain extent. We had a nice short left hook there from Michael, and another one. Staggered Anderson for a second, but then immediately Anderson Silva comes fired back. Interesting exchange at the end. Anderson walks over to him.
Straight back into it then, Dan. Round number 2. Queued up by a roar from the London crowd.
Michael Bisping gaining confidence from the end of that round. Jason Perillo in his corner saying that he stole that round with the last flurry. Bisping pushing him back against the fence, trying to get him over his heels. So elusive is Anderson Silva. It's really difficult to commit 100% to anything, feeling that it may potentially miss.
What's the self-talk for a fighter, Dan, when they're faced with something like that?
You know, it's just a case of sticking to basics and being sure of your game. Michael Bisping needs to be confident in his punch placement. The hesitation will cause him to miss.
Memories of the Stephan Bonner fights are playing out in front of us.
The difference being Michael Bisping is considerably faster than Stephan Bonner. Bisping doing a good job of not playing Anderson Silva's game there, backing up off the fence, standing with his hands on his hips.
Keeping a very level head is Michael Bisping, but confidence beaming out of Anderson Silva. He looks like such an imposing figure inside that octagon. And we know all too well that this can just be finished in the click of the fingers.
Bisping's doing a good job though. You know, he's being patient. He's taking his time. He knows the later rounds are in favour of him.
And that is going to be key, Dan, as well, pushing this later on. We were speaking with Bisping's corner all this week, and they said after round number 2, that then goes into their territory.
I'm very much in agreement of that. This is good work from Michael Bisping. You know, like we were saying, John, he needs to keep the pressure on. He needs to make the octagon small and make him feel suffocated. Even if they're standing in the centre of the octagon, Michael constantly threatening to tread on his toes is really going to keep Anderson Silva in a place where he's reactive to Michael Bisping's attack.
Once again, Bisping keeping his cool, looking for openings, trying to engineer a situation where he can land that right hand, or perhaps some of his knees that have served him very well throughout his career.
Here comes the pressure forward of Anderson Silva.
Silva seems happy to be fighting on the retreat, Dan.
Yeah, I mean, the thing with Anderson Silva is because he doesn't really push forward aggressively very often, when he does it makes people freeze up. We saw it in the Stephan Bonner fight, we saw it against Forrest Griffin as well. If he can instill that kind of fear in his opponent, a lot of the time they offer him that target that he needs to expose.
And he's showing some of this Filipino boxing that he's been working on.
He is. He's landed a couple of nice short back fists off the jab, which are a lot quicker than Mike. Anderson briefly looked over at his corner for a second for confirmation of something.
Well, Michael Bisping gave them confirmation that he wasn't too impressed by it.
In typical Michael Bisping style. Good, consistent work again. Michael Bisping moves forward behind a couple of punches, lands a good low kick.
Bisping pulled in Lorenz Larkin and Mark Munoz to help prepare for Anderson Silva. Again, that very useful work by Bisping behind that jab.
Oh, and again, nice. Anderson goes down for a second. Good uppercut from Michael Bisping. Michael's pouring under pressure. Really good work from Michael Bisping here. This definitely puts him in control of this fight so far.
Bisping is looking to hit the switch on Silva. Silva seems to have cleared his head a little bit. But Bisping is in the ascendancy here in London.
He certainly feels the momentum shift.
Last 10 seconds.
Good clean punches and shots landed. Good elbows from Michael Bisping. This is exactly where Michael wants to be going. So let's have a look at the replay of that. Michael Bisping steps in, lands a left hook to start with that rocks Anderson Silva, then follows it up with a right hook, left hook combination. Clearly Anderson Silva's stunned. Looked himself going down to the canvas, a bit of a surprised look on his face, immediately ready for the up kick. But Michael Bisping forces into his guard and finishes the round very, very strongly. A good place to be for Michael Bisping, moving into the third round.
Very good spatial awareness there at the end of that round from Michael Bisping. This, Dan, is not disappointing the crowds here in London.
Not at all, not at all. This is a fantastic contest between two really talented strikers that are not scared to exchange on the feet. Anderson Silva now looks to have switched on a little more. He looks like he's got more respect for Michael Bisping now. He certainly looks like he's taking this fight a bit more seriously after that knockdown.
Well, he was conservative against Nick Diaz, but he started to loosen up as the fight went on. I mean, we talk about Michael Bisping's output going into the later rounds, but let's not forget that Anderson Silva, well, I can't remember the last time he wasn't in a 5-round fight.
Well, no, this is it, but they just don't often go 5 rounds. That's the thing with Anderson Silva. But when they have, you know, he's been consistent. I mean, look at the Chael Sonnen fight. It was the 5th round. He lost all 4 of the first rounds, and then took the last one. Took the last one with a beautiful triangle. So you can never count Anderson Silva out, but this certainly bodes well for Michael Bisping.
Enjoy live and exclusive events, original programming, and the largest MMA library on UFC Fight Pass. Download the UFC.tv app today. Anytime, anywhere, your pass to the UFC.
Again, Michael Bisping just stubbornly standing his ground, not being shaken at all by the patience of Anderson Silva, which usually can be some fighters' undoings. Again, pushes forward. Very good at taking his feet with him is Michael Bisping. Doesn't overextend, doesn't reach with his punches, moves in well, stays balanced.
The crowd really getting behind Michael Bisping. They know how much it means to him. He has held a target on Anderson Silva's back for many, many years. And right now, he is testing his skills against one of the greatest fighters to have ever lived. And he's doing very, very well.
He is. The left hook is finding its way through. It didn't land cleanly then, but the target's certainly there. Beautiful, good strikes from both guys there. Saw the sweat ring off each other's heads.
Yeah, both of these fighters glistening under the bright lights inside the ultimate proving ground. Anderson Silva poised to strike. But the constant work rate and movement of Bisping is a riddle that he is finding fairly difficult to resolve at the moment.
Kick caught by Anderson Silva. One low kick, Michael Bisping.
Oh, big head kick from Silva.
Anderson definitely looking like he's taking this more seriously now.
Well, there's absolutely no doubt about it. Michael Bisping has been all business this week. He has got his game face on. And he is in the zone. Anderson Silva now, if you take a look geographically where he is inside the octagon, he is holding the centre a lot more now.
It certainly is. You can see the confidence having an effect on Michael Bisping, making him not necessarily hesitant, but certainly more respectful of Anderson Silva's attack. Now he feels like he's definitely planning something. Fell short just there with those shots. Anderson Silva trying to create some kind of confusion.
Yeah.
Trying to draw Michael's attention to his hands.
Yeah, looking to fashion an opening by dazzling Bisping with hand movements. But once again, when he dips, he is susceptible to be getting caught.
Oh, another good jab from Michael Bisping.
Good head movement from Silva that time as he sets up that big head kick.
Anderson pushes forward, looking for that head kick again.
He's not letting Bisping out of this space, Dan.
Michael doing a great job though of staying out of danger. I mean, I know he's on the back foot right now, but he's landing good shots as he's moving. There we go again.
Bisping trying to fight his way off of the fence. Silva is looking to close the distance, and I believe for a Muay Thai clinch.
Here comes the onslaught of Anderson Silva. Michael's lost his mouth guard, but Anderson Silva does not care. He's pushing forward in typical Anderson Silva style. There's the Thai clinch. Bisping's ready.
Done.
Oh! Jumping knee! Michael goes down!
But that is the buzzer. Michael Bisping, I have to say, Dan, he needs to protect himself at all times. And he was looking at his mouthpiece.
Michael was distracted then by the referee, who was asking for his mouthpiece. Anderson Silva is convinced that this fight is over, but Herb Dean is saying it's not.
Well, no, that's Michael Bisping.
The fight's not over. He goes to his corner. The fight's not over. I never fought the fight.
The fight's not over. Michael Bisping is on his chair. His corner should be allowed in.
So he can go to your corner.
The officials weren't letting the cornerman in. There was obviously some confusion. But now Bisping has seen his cornerman, Jason Perillo. He knows he is still in the game.
This fight won immediately. That jumping knee put Bisping on bad street. He was definitely hurt, but now the fight started again, and Michael Bisping is back to pushing forward, although his head surely has not been cleared from that jumping knee.
Well, Bisping is maintaining range versus Anderson Silva, who is circling the octagon. Silva's, in doing that, is giving Bisping time.
See, not only can Anderson Silva create chaos in the fight, he can create chaos in the arena as well. Like, nobody knew what was happening. Anderson Silva immediately took charge then and declared the fight was over. Fair play to Herb Dean for standing his ground and making this fight continue.
It got so very loud in here. I mean, I didn't hear that final bell.
There's some definite damage to Michael Bisping's nose, but that does not seem to be deterring him at all. He almost seems annoyed at how that last round ended.
You need some time?
Shot was fired a little low.
Watch the
crown jewels of Michael Bisping. It's got up to 5 minutes to recover.
I have to say it, John, we saw it in the Rockhold fight as well. Michael Bisping being distracted, catch him high.
Bisping fights on. What a war we have here in London. Bisping forcing Silva's shoulders up against the fence.
Michael Bisping is not giving Anderson Silva an inch here. Although Anderson Silva looks like he's playing, Michael Bisping is landing shots here.
Bobbing and weaving is Silva. Popping and nailing is Bisping. Setting up that big right hand is Michael Bisping. But Silva seems to be happy in this stationary position. He has an opportunity to move out of that space.
I have to wonder whether this is part of that Filipino boxing style that he's been adopting. You know, we saw him against Stephan Bonner doing this as well. Very much a Wing Chun style of parrying and countering, like a Bruce Lee Jeet Kune Do effort.
Exactly that.
Oh, good work by Michael Bisping. His hands are very fast, and Anderson just doesn't seem to be able to keep up with him. Jason Perillo asking Michael Bisping to start working the body. If Anderson's standing square to him, start thundering at that solar plexus and see if we can take the fight out of him that way.
Anderson Silva is not fighting to win points on the scorecards.
He's not. He's looking for the big highlight reel finish. And that could be the pressure of Anderson Silva, feeling that that's what everybody expects of him when he's in there. People do expect the big finish. They do expect the flamboyance and the flashiness. And that was his undoing against Chris Weidman. But he seems to be playing that game again here against Michael Bisping, and that could be a bad tactic. You know, we're in the 4th round now. Although Michael Bisping suffered a good knee in that last round, he's still pushing forward here.
The crowd getting behind their home fighter here at the O2 Arena. John Gooden in commentary with Dan Hardy. An absolute honour to be calling this battle.
Anderson really looking to catch, counter and to parry. Some really nice hand fighting going on here.
You okay? Watch your fingers. Can you see? Do I need to bring the doctor in? Yeah. Okay.
I think there might be some mind gain of eye pokes.
Yes, indeed.
Again, Michael Bisping stepping into the pocket.
And he had one of Anderson Silva's gloves whistle past his chin. That spearing jab of Bisping. Been so very successful this evening. He's worked so diligently behind it. Forcing Silva back against the fence once again. Bisping focusing very much on his own assault stand.
This is exactly what we expected Michael Bisping to do. He knows that this is how he wins the fight. It's so difficult to press forward on Anderson Silva. He plays so many tricky games. Lots of head movement and hand movement and distraction techniques. But Michael Bisping is finding his range here. Anderson Silva not giving himself the options to move away when he's up against the fence. And now immediately the tables have turned and it's Anderson Silva pushing forward. Beautiful shots. A right hook left straight through Anderson Silva. Good head movement here. Possibly looking to find the finish towards the end of this round. A good knee. Michael Bisping pushes him off.
Silva in a kind of Muay Thai-esque style, building up flurries.
Oh, there was that upward elbow that he knocked out Tony Fricklin with, and a short left elbow comes over the top. Lands good shots against Michael Bisping.
Upward angled, straight right, followed by a big left from Silva. And now he's got Bisping pressed against the fence. Superman punch with that controversy, and a lot of credit here should be given to Herb Dean to have maintained control of the situation.
Definitely. So there goes the mouthpiece of Michael Bisping. Immediately it points to it, and Anderson Silva sees that distraction. He starts to put the pressure on Michael Bisping. Herb Dean's got that mouthpiece in his hand right now, and he's waiting for an opportunity to put that in. Michael's distracted by the referee, and as soon as that happens, Anderson jumps forward and lands that jumping knee and starts to celebrate. You've got to think there's got to be an adrenaline dump there. He was on the cage, he was celebrating, he was...
Luke Rockhold very close to the action, checking out this fight.
We can see Michael, he's marked up, he's bloody. There's some damage to his nose. We can see some marks on Anderson Silva, but for the most part he looks fairly clean. There's a small trickle of blood coming from the left eye, but Anderson Silva is the one that's been doing the more damaging work. A beautiful high kick there, partially blocked by Michael Bisping.
Hit that behind his left hand very nicely,
as he did against Yushin Okami. Bisping clearing his eye. Has to stay focused on Anderson Silva here. Can't be distracted by anything else. Michael pushes forward. Again pushes forward. Anderson's nowhere to be found other than the low kick. An aggressive Anderson Silva looking for that finish. Fires again, the high kick.
Puts it behind the left hand. That is a combination that's working for him. Silva's looking very fresh indeed coming into this final round.
Good jab from Michael Bisping.
Snap back the head of the spider. Nice head movement from Anderson. A lot of blood escaping the face of Michael Bisping.
I think we may have a check here for the cut of Michael Bisping. It seems to be bothering him a little bit. Let's bring the doctor in and see what he's got to say. Do you want to continue? Of course you want to continue. Are you Michael Bisping? Of course you want to continue. Here he goes again. We're almost there. Round of applause for Anderson Silva and a show of respect for both guys.
Finally.
Well, I think they've earned it from each other right now. 3:30 left in the round. Everyone is perched on the edge of their seat. Michael Bisping really struggling with that nose and that cut on the bridge of the nose.
Some urgency being displayed by Anderson Silva. He almost took a couple of rounds off, certainly for the lion's share of a couple of rounds.
Oh! Front kick from Anderson Silva! Michael Bisping was wrong but stays on his feet. And Anderson Silva closes the range, 3 minutes to go.
Bisping is hurt.
A knee from Anderson Silva, another knee from Anderson Silva. Looks for the tie clinch. Bisping is in retreat, firing warning shots.
He's coming back, trying to fight his way off of the fence. Anderson Silva once again sinks in that knee.
Oh, beautiful inside turning kick
from Silva.
Anderson now becoming very creative, very relaxed. Michael Bisping trying to land the good shots as he's backing up, but Anderson Silva is like an avalanche pouring forward onto Michael Bisping now. A brief moment's respite, but you can't help but feel that Anderson Silva's setting something up.
Michael Bisping has never needed to watch his defences more in his career than he does in this final 2 minutes and 10 seconds.
It's really difficult to know how the judges are scoring it, especially with that controversy at the end of the third round. But neither fighter is backing up here. Michael Bisping is giving ground, but he's still in the fight. He's still firing forward.
He knows he is close. He knows he's landed a great many shots on Anderson Silva. But Silva knows he has a wounded Bisping in front of him.
Anderson looks like he's measuring.
Anderson Silva has some of the most beautiful techniques in his locker.
Michael Bisping shoots for a takedown. Does he get it against Anderson Silva? You can see the grimace on Silva's face as he's trying to defend that takedown, and he denies Bisping.
Michael Bisping is really in the mood today. Is this his defining career performance? Will Anderson Silva pull something out the bag here? He has under 1 minute to clock up a few more points.
We're moving into the last 45 seconds of the round now. Anderson Silva's still playing games.
Bisping needs to keep his hands up, and Anderson Silva needs to find an opening. That front kick looked very good earlier.
It did, it was very close.
Look how creative he is even deep into this fight.
It's so difficult to put any kind of combinations together for Michael Bisping right now. He's pushing forward with the jab, but to commit to anything more could be too risky at this point in the fight. 15 seconds to go. It's so difficult to know how the judges have scored it. It's so difficult to know which fighter needs to invest their time here and their energy in this last 10 seconds.
Bisping revs up his efforts towards the final bell, and it is met by a huge cheer from the London crowd. Let us pause for a moment to reflect.
Michael Bisping keeping the pressure on throughout the fight. Anderson Silva landing the cleaner, more devastating shots, but the consistency of Michael Bisping. It's difficult to know how to score this one. I mean, the front kicks were beautiful. The count.
And after 5 rounds, we go to the judges' scorecards for a decision. All 3 judges have scored this contest 48-47. For the winner, by unanimous decision,